Welcome to the Wire to Wire podcast. As always, it's me, your host Yusuf. Now, without further ado, let's just get right to it. So, with the upcoming NBA season, there will be some broadcasting changes where the games will air on Amazon, NBC, as well as ESPN. But they are introducing some changes in how the viewers will be able to watch the games as well as the start time of some of these games. Now, with these changes, it makes me wonder, what is the NBA doing? Now, if you take a look at the first graphic that I posted here, it shows how much it'll cost per year for each streaming service in order for viewers to be able to watch the games. Now, maybe some of these numbers might be off, but I think it's a good general ballpark figure to get an idea of how much it'll cost viewers on an annual basis. When you add up all of these numbers, it's quite clear that it's going to be somewhat costly. Now, the whole purpose of streaming was that it was meant for cord cutting and saving consumers money on expensive cable packages. But now that so many companies have jumped on the streaming wave, it's having the opposite effect of what it was actually intended to do. So it's actually becoming more costly for viewers. What's crazy is that I don't think it's even been a profitable business model. I think what has happened is two things. Number one is that consumer behavior has changed so much. And number two is that companies have invested so much money into streaming that they cannot just abandon it and jump ship. So they're basically in too deep when it comes to streaming. I think what's happening is that major companies are leveraging streaming not as a profitable business model, but rather as a bonus and an incentive to fuel their other businesses. So, for example, Apple is using Apple TV Plus to drive growth to their devices. It's probably losing them money, but if they see that it's helping them in other areas of the business, then it's probably worth them spending to keep Apple TV Plus going. And if down the line it actually becomes profitable for them, then that's just a bonus for a company like Apple. But I'm sure that they're not dependent on the success of Apple TV Plus. And I think you could probably even say the same thing about Amazon Prime. But with the NBA, you know you've had a viewership decline, and taking this approach is probably not going to do much to help them with their viewership. They're making it inconvenient and somewhat costly for viewers just to be able to watch the game. So I don't really get the angle that they're trying to take by it being available on all of these different streaming platforms. But I know for Amazon, they have an incentive. They can leverage the NBA as a point to say, you should sign up with us because we have a large variety of selection from movies, shows, to even live sports. So it gives them an opportunity to expand their offerings by bringing the NBA into the fold. But when it comes to the actual NBA, I don't quite get it from their perspective on how something like this will help them in terms of their viewership. The other change that's coming up is they are moving their start time on Tuesday nights on NBC for their double headers from 10:30 p.m., which is what it's always been previously, Eastern time that is, to 11 p.m. Now, many fans have already thought that the 10:30 p.m. start time, right, particularly for the West Coast games, were always late because even though the game was supposed to start at 10:30 p.m., the game wouldn't actually start until maybe 10:45 or 11 p.m. in some cases. So with this second game now of a doubleheader supposed to start at 11 p.m., we probably can't even really expect the start time until 11:15 or maybe even 11:30. So if it starts that late, then chances are it's probably not really going to end until around 2ish a.m. So this one is actually something that was quite shocking to me. Now, with the NBA's fan base and me knowing or having an idea of who their target audience really is, how does this actually benefit them or make it better for them? People won't be able to watch because they will either have to get up early for work in the morning, or for the younger audience, they may have school the next day. So this doesn't really make much sense from a viewership perspective. But I do have a theory on why I think they're doing what they're actually doing. Now, I've said it before on this podcast, but the NBA is more interested in becoming a global league rather than just an American sports league. So if you look at the time zone difference, while it might be late for those on Eastern Standard Time, it will be morning or midday for those who are overseas. Now, the time zone difference can range anywhere from about, let's just say, 5 hours to 13 hours, depending on the location of where people are. So, for example, say a place like the UK, they are 5 hours ahead of those who are on Eastern Standard Time. Or take Japan, for example, they are 13 hours ahead. So, if you look at it, pushing it back just that half an hour can have a tremendous impact on those internationally in terms of being able to actually watch the games at a decent time by their standards and being able to watch the game at a time that is convenient for them. Now, sometimes in life, when someone gains somewhere, someone else is losing elsewhere. And I think this is a good example of that. Now, I don't think the NBA has really addressed the reasoning or their thought process behind why they made this decision, but this would really be my reasoning as to why they're doing it. I really think that it's more so to appease and engage their international audience more. And moving it that half an hour, I think would make a big difference for them. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of these upcoming changes? Are you looking forward to the upcoming season with all of these changes that are going on? But that's all I got for you guys today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and share with your people. You can also follow me and the podcast on social media. You can even check out my books. All of these links will be in the description. Until next time.